Maayong adlaw and good day, my fellow Filipinos and listeners of the world. I am Dr. Marlon Lawas Saison, Rajah Makalipay to the Higaonon indigenous peoples of the Visayas. I finished my baccalaureate study in chemical engineering and postgraduate studies in law, business administration, and education. I have five doctorates with me: Doctor of Humanities, Doctor of Leadership and Management, Doctor of Ecclesiastical Laws, Doctor of Natural Healing, and Doctor of Science. I am a down to earth person with many members, indigenous and cultural peoples, under the banner of Missionaries of Lands, Indigenous Food for Humanity Acquisition Incorporated, a people's organization duly registered under Philippine laws. And our advocacies are food security through rehabilitative and sustainable natural organic farming and protection and care for the environment. I purposely appear in this YouTube because indigenous peoples who are also indigenous people warriors, in which I am one of their tribal chieftains, has finally decided to really intensively and strongly help our Philippine government in this fight against the killer and dreaded coronavirus, which at this time of my announcement, particularly in the city of Cebu, which is located in our province of Cebu, is suffering the onslaught of this killer virus. Tribal warriors are known for their dedication, loyalty, and commitment to their country. Just like Israel, which has its Torigs, the Philippines also has its tribal warriors. I had been a tribal warrior since 1997 and until now. Although it was a different fight that I was involved into some years back, we are still warriors, me and my men, and that is a fight against poverty. Since January early this year, when the dreaded virus made its surreptitious entry into our country, the Philippines, we tribal warriors have noted that with government health tactics, our economy was also affected. Many people have lost their jobs, and there are also families have lost the regular frequency of their meals 3 times a day. Since the past 3 months, I and my men have been engaged in the fight for food security. I conducted many trainings on natural and organic farming because I'm also a bioenzyme scientist. My invention can also help a lot in organic and natural food production. But in as much as we observe these tribal warriors, that there is also a need for us to help the government, the frontliners, in the fight against the virus. Finally, I openly come out into the open to announce to the world my 3 inventions, which I did discover way back 1996 by God, by hiring Mambabayanis consulting services to me, had been proven effective to my people, but we just did keep it silent because there are government regulations in the country, in the Philippines, that cannot allow my inventions to be openly known to people. And also to comply these government regulations, there is a need to spend so much money and also a need for the consumption of time, which me and my assistants can hardly give. Moreover, I and my people are paying respect to our Constitution and 2 statutes that are enacted in order to encourage the indigenous peoples to work also with the government for maintenance of health of Filipinos. First, our Constitution, Article 2, Section 15, says, the state shall protect and promote the right to health of the people and instill health consciousness among them. And Republic Act 8371, the Indigenous Peoples' Rights Act of 1997, which empowers, which motivates IPs and ICCs also says in its Section 2, maximum participation of the indigenous cultural communities, indigenous peoples, in the direction of health shall be encouraged. Then followed by Section 34, which says the right to indigenous knowledge systems and practices and to develop own sciences and technologies shall be supported by the government. And also, Another statute, the Republic Act 84/23, which was enacted way back 1990s, the so-called Traditional and Alternative Medicine Act, also says in its section 3, it is an objective of this act to encourage scientific research and develop traditional and alternative healthcare systems that have direct impact on public health care. By the way, may I most respectfully announce to every Filipino listener here that as long as our umbilical cords are buried here in the Philippine soil, we are actually indigenous peoples. We are actually natives. We are actually katutubo. Because in the implementing rules and regulations of the IPRA law, Republic Act 8371, it is stated there that there are two instances that one can be identified as really a katutubo in the Philippines. First, by self-ascription. When he announces to himself and to the world that he is a native-born Filipino, that he is a katutubo. And secondly, by the ascription of others, when other people tells him that you are a Filipino katutubo, then you are. And by the way, listeners to this announcement, Rajah Makalipay, who comes from the Higaonon tribe, is a downline generation of the famous tribal hero in the island province of Cebu, from Mactan, Lapu-Lapu. Lapu-Lapu is my grandfather. If, as you will see, your friend now, Dr. Marlon L. Saison, Rajah Makalipay, is really an IP, an ICC man. I stand only 5 feet and 3 inches and a brown Malian complexion, which is also the complexion of the Higaonon tribe, the descendants of the Malays who first came to the Philippines in their balanays, their native wooden boats. Now, let's go to the point of coronavirus. I am very happy and proud that, simple and humble as I am, I come from a very poor family of 13 children. I am the eldest. Although I graduated a valedictorian from my high school, when I took up my chemical engineering in Southwestern University of Cebu City, I did not enjoy my academic scholarship, but instead I opted to become a lowly janitor just to finish my chemical engineering. What good is your academic scholarship when you do not have your food? Well, to make the story short, I finished my chemical engineering after 5 years. I developed it so much thanks to my first exposure as a process and research control analyst in a very famous copper mining company of the world, then Atlas Mining. It was there that my skill in being a scientist, being an inventor, had started. Thank you for that company. I still live in the place where the copper mine stands still until now in Lutupan. I am still in Lutupan. In fact, I had been a barangay chairman here before, but I resigned because there are some movements in politics which my conscience cannot accept. I would rather surrender my throne than surrender my righteousness. I am very thankful that amidst my loneliness, God gave me the opportunity to learn lots of things, to have learned permaculture, to have learned metaphysics, to have learned quantum food chemistry, to have learned human resource development, strategic planning, etc. These are things that have molded me to have the capability to help with my men in the fight against coronavirus. Specifically, I invented, again, by the wisdom given by God, by His being a consultant on me. I have invented 3 bioenzymes that have to be applied holistically in order that will really win in this battle. Just 3 days ago, I posted in the Facebook an enlightenment from God telling me that battle against coronavirus cannot be won in the streets. It can be won in the body of the human being in and out. And there are even instructions to involve tribal warriors, to involve prayer warriors of all religions existing in the Philippines, led by the Holy Child, Haring Mababayani, and led by my grandfather Lapu-Lapu, together with the existing efforts of our government to finally win against the battle. From our side, from my side, from the side of Missionaries of Lands, Indigenous Food for Humanity Acquisition Incorporated, in which my group have strategic allies, the KKMMI, a big tribal group in the Philippines, by Visayas Federal Movement, by Royal World Peace Advocate, by Beneficiary International Foundation Incorporated, by Maharlikas for Cultural Recovery, and all others that are encouraging me, motivating me to finally appear. The 3 products that I would be announcing are the following. First, a natural and organic hand wash. I purposely brand as Manayaw Tao. Manayaw Tao is a tribal term for warrior. It is an invention, a bioenzyme invention, that if accidentally drunk by anybody, by a child or an adult, it would even be good because it tastes like tea. It shall be applied in the human skin and in the face. washing application. Then, after the washing, do not wipe with a towelette or a handkerchief. Let it just have it air dried. Because the purpose is when the liquid shall have dried up, beneficial microorganisms, probiotics, stay in the human skin, stay in the face, and all other parts of the body, because these probiotics, which are composed of free, strong, beneficial microorganisms or bacteria that have the capability to fight against virus. Stay on guard at the surface of the human body, and that at any time when the COVID virus attacks us during our unguarded moments, because I know that this virus is mutated, cultured, multiplied, and trying to attack a human being during his unguarded moment, particularly at the time when he is asleep. When we are asleep, we cannot place anymore our face mask. In the house, especially if the house is that of a poor family, they cannot do any more social distancing. Especially when due to lack of food, they just sleep, taking in only hot water to appease a trembling intestine. The human immune system is also asleep. And because of this scenario, because nobody wants to die while sleeping, there should be a technique from anybody, from just even a lowly person. It just so happens that I'm a scientist. There should be a technique that while we are asleep, we have with us these beneficial microorganisms, billions and billions of them. By the way, technically, the lifespan of a good bacteria is only 1 day. But it exponentially grows on the 24th hour into 1.1 million CFU, colony forming units. If the virus multiplies so fast, our bacteria also multiplies so fast. And there are 3 of them. Because of that, when you talk of who will have the more number of soldiers, then it is our soldiers. They have the same growth rate, but we have 3 types of them. So, that is manayaw tao. Again, you hand wash and face wash, and the manayaw tao solution that have been used already for hand and face washing, do not just throw it or dispose it anywhere. Spray it in your plants. Because I have studied that before nighttime, when this virus attacks you, during daytime that it shall have reached your vicinity of the house, it first stays in your plants. And only attacks when you are asleep during your unguarded moment. Friends, to facilitate my presentation and future people government agencies, private institutions who have listened to me now, who believe on what I am saying, and are interested to do your own healing to your families, to your groups. I have here prepared a medical data sheet, which I am very willing to give to anyone who wants to help our government in the context of proactivity, defend himself and his family and his organization members from the onslaught of this coronavirus. I am talking now of Manayal Tao, the external application. Manayal Tao mother culture is formulated out of beneficial microorganisms, technically known as probiotics, brown sugar, herbals with healing characteristics, spring water, mint, fruit juices, and coconut activator. The mother culture has nitrogen-fixing beneficial microorganisms and herbal solutions that combine to repel any virus from entering the human body. When the virus has settled the human skin, the myriads of beneficial microorganisms attack the virus up to the latter's extinction. The bioenzyme is both man and environment friendly, does not pose danger when accidentally drunk. Earlier in my announcement, I was saying that there is no danger because there is no danger if accidentally drunk by any member of the family because it looks like a tea drink. No danger. Because as I was just citing to you the components of the formulation, all these are palatable. They are tasteful. And when accidentally drunk, at the instance of our children, it may even cause deworming. Lalabas yung mga bulati sa stomach ng ating mga children. Now, there are two instances in the fight against the virus. Assuming that before you have used the Manayal Tao hand and face wash, hindi mo pa nagagamit. The coronavirus has already attacked you. In fact, medical studies are even telling us that this virus stays first in the next 4 days at the portion of our neck, in the throat. Then after 4 days, finally goes down, and there, the killing of man starts. In that scenario, because like I said, this is war. And because this is war, our systems of fighting, our weapons, in this particular instance, our bioenzymes, should be designed tactically and strategically. A while ago, I was saying that in the first phase of the fight, when the virus has just landed on the human skin, then we have our atomic weapon, the Manayal Tao hand and face wash. But assuming that the virus wins over us in the first phase and has now finally gone to the second phase, we also have another bioenzyme invention for that. When a victim is someone, whether a man or a woman, who drinks wine and native tuba. By the way, for the listeners of the other parts of the world, tuba is a native term for coconut wine, either freshly gathered from the fruit or stayed for some few days. For those who drink tuba or wine, our invention is paraiso. Paraiso is a native term for paradise. I purposely called it paraiso or paradise because my men, and you now, my listeners, should tell the Supreme Healer, God, that in spite of all the maladaptations that had happened to the world because of our irresponsibilities, our conscience still tells us that the world remains a paradise. Paraiso is our way of telling God that God, at your own moment, please know and accept our feelings that we really do not want to die against this alien virus, that we really love our lives, and that if given the chance to change, then we will. That's the meaning of paraiso. Paraiso is basically coconut tuba based with added components by impact herbals, beneficial microorganisms again, probiotics, with quality fried matured coconut, fruit juices, and brown sugar. The pharmacological aspect of paraiso is it is a highly effective, strong combination of coconut tuba and beneficial microorganisms or probiotics, best for energizing the immune system and treatment of cancer, viral attacks, hypertension, and all other forms of internal ailments. Product does not contain any synthetic components because probiotics do not thrive thereat. On the other hand, harmful bacteria and viruses multiply more in a synthetic condition because of their thermophilic character. Thermophilic, just like the term thermos, meaning hot loving. Again, I would like to remind that virus, being thermophilic, multiply more in a hot condition. The taste of paraiso is very pleasant, especially to men who drink tuba and wine. Then the pharmacokinetics of paraiso. Coconut contains lots of toxin neutralizers and substances against AIDS, diabetes, SARS, coronavirus, and other viral attacks. It protects the body from heart ailments and other degenerative diseases. It can strengthen the human body's immune system because of its richness in monolaurin, medium chain saturated fat that is usually found in mother's milk. Cancer and many infectious illnesses can also be answered by coconut. Beneficial microorganisms produce organic nitrate gases in the human body that stabilize man's immune system. In millions and billions, they fight against dreaded virus like coronavirus to the latter's extension. Herbs replenish immediately worn out tissues of the human body affected by viruses. And then there are highly known vegetables and herbs that I am encouraging to be included also in the formulation. First, the makabuhay. It is known as panyawan in the Visayas. And ginger or loya. Well, ginger, as we know, is a condiment that is very tasteful when used as a component of many of our dishes. With the manayawtaw formulation, just have a small portion of manayawtaw because it is better, it has a better taste, it is a vine in form, and a small amount also, small size of ginger. Have these two blended to a finer particle and include in the manayawtaw, or rather in the paraiso formulation. Makabuhay herbal vine may also be added to the paraiso bottle in small size only because of its very bitter taste. It makes paraiso more effective in the healing process. Makabuhay as a supreme healing herb of the tribesmen has the following benefits: enhance nutrients circulation and longevity, relief from strong fever and allergic rhinitis, control of diarrhea, antibacterial activity, anti-malarial, wound healing, anti-inflammatory, anti-cancer, and prevention of liver damage. By the way, my beloved listeners, details of what I was saying, I am very graceful to entertain queries through my cell number in the Philippines, 0923 365 5734. 0923 3655734, or in my email, Charlemagne, just like the spelling of a great king of France, King Charlemagne, Carlo Magno, Charlemagne, underscore Saison at yahoo.com. Again, my email is Charlemagne underscore Saison at yahoo.com. And my private messenger is Marlon Lawas Saison. Marlon Lawas Saison. Now, to the final and third invention. There are COVID victims who do not drink wine, who do not drink tobacco. Let it be. Because we still have another invention for them, for children and for women. You know, pregnant women are not advised to drink paraiso mixed with panyawan because we know the medical effect of that, pregnant. But we have designed, as I was telling again, all these three inventions that I am announcing to the world, firstly to my country, the Philippines, were discovered by me upon God's advice way back 1996 when I was also on the verge of death. I had certain sickness before, I could not explain. I could not eat in 47 days. And God in person asked me, do you really believe on me? Then when I said to him, yes, my Father, I believe on you. He immediately take out from his pocket a spoon full of full of coconut oil. And he told me, "You drink this, Marlon, because if you will still not be healed, I am not God anymore." To make the story short, I was held in just a matter of 3 to 4 hours, and I am now facing before you, helping the government, all peoples of the world, in the healing process. The third final invention for children and for pregnant women, I call it Sakaro, mother culture bioenzyme. It is a water-based liquid food supplement for immune system boost and virus extinction. Sakaro stands for one of the beneficial microorganisms that we use in the formulation. There are many bioenzymes made by other scientists of the world. But this invention, Sakaro, is very, very tasteful because it tastes like soft drinks. That's why children, women, like drinking this mother culture, this Sakaro, because of its very, very pleasant taste. Modestly aside, may inform everybody that I had worked in a soft drink company for 7 years in the 1990s. As a food supplement, Sakaro bioenzyme is comprised of mint, fresh fruit juices, brown sugar, herbal solutions from high-impact common herbs, fried coconut, beneficial microorganisms, and underground spring potable water rich in mineral nutrients. Its pharmacology is, it is a very effective beneficial microorganism containing bioenzyme food supplement best for immune system boost, tired bodies, cancer and viruses, hypertension, and all other forms of internal ailments. Product does not contain any synthetic ingredients because beneficial microorganisms become extinct with chemicals. Moreover, harmful bacteria and viruses multiply more in a synthetic solution because, again, of their thermophilic character. Taste of Sakaro, like I said, is like soft drinks, very pleasing to man, even to children. Honestly, of course, I am not placing uh, an addictive component, just unlike the soft drinks. Yes, I agree. Soft drinks contains a little portion of addictive component, caffeine or cocaine. But in this case, I am not placing any caffeine or cocaine because in the first place, in the Philippines, we have a very strict drugs law. And then I do not have also the money to buy these kinds of drugs because this costs millions. And lastly, I am a man of God. My purpose in life is to save life, not to dispose them out of the world. Taste of Sakaro is very pleasing to man, even to children, such that God forbids when our children are affected with the virus, we know that they are also vulnerable, like senior citizens. I am now a senior citizen because I am now 63 years old. When our children drinks this Sakaro, they are protected every second of the day because once these are inside the children's bodies, they multiply so fast. Just like the beneficial microorganisms, the probiotics that I was mentioning in my first invention, Paraiso, and even in Manayao, they also multiply so fast. The kinetics of saccharose activate mother culture for drinking by mixing into the 330 ml mother culture 7 liters of the drinking water. Stir thoroughly the black solution in opposing directions, forming a vortex. Why I am suggesting the theory of vortex? I am a doctor of natural healing. Natural healing doctors are trained how to heal using the powers of nature, the powers of biodynamics. Forming a vortex in formulation when you mix solutions, meaning when you stir the solution first clockwise, you also stir it in the other direction, counterclockwise. Thus, you have formed a vortex. In Cebuano, in our language, tuo, belief. But it is true. Just like the tuog or the stem in healing, which I also strongly believe, and so do my people. The myriad beneficial microorganisms or probiotics in the final solution will consume sugar and transform the latter into protein and finally into nitrates and energy that enhance human health. Maybe added with makabuhay also or panyawan, vine herbal plant for stronger result, excepting pregnant mothers. Some indications are being in liquid form. When saccharose is taken in as food supplement, it enhances immune system energization and easily goes into all corners, nooks of human body, thereby expelling all dreaded viruses, harmful bacteria, and waste that result to costly human ailments. Saccharose also readily heals because its herbal components function to replenish immediately worn out tissues because of bacteria-related ailments like cancer, tuberculosis, diabetes, etc. And being the inventor, I most respectfully tell our government, the Philippine government, that I respectfully submits all these inventions to regulations under Foods, Drugs, Devices, and Cosmetics Act. And in the name of the indigenous peoples, that millions of them, the lowly, the poor, but highly committed indigenous peoples who are ready to help the government without even any compensation, who are ready to live and let die for the country, may I respectfully again appeal to our government. Please help facilitate the recognition of my inventions in the Food and Drugs Administration before other countries will take this out from my hands. Of course, with my consent and approval. Maraming salamat po.